All right, this is a debriefing video for 8th of March 2023, regular board meeting, normal opening, first public comments, no one that commented there. The first thing we had were the inspector contracts. That was just to change the compensation on there, how the compensation is processed, really, not the amount of the compensation. Those passed. Resolution 2023-22 for Love Inc. ramps. Essentially waiving the fee that's paid for building permits for ramps for accessibility to houses. That one passed. Next, we had zoning ordinance 2023-05 for ponds, mining, excavations, and site plans. And this came up about the difference between sand mining versus someone just digging a pond for use and some adjustments around that. That passed. Next, we had the township hall construction quote. That passed, including the more expensive, about 20 grand more expensive, complete tear off and redo on the roof. So, but I think that'll have the township hall set to not be leaking for the next few decades, which will be nice and is the better way to go. Next, we had accessory dwelling units, and so the board just moved this to the planning commission to start reviewing ordinance in that direction. Next, we had fireworks, and this is just about the 4th of July presentation at Twin Lake off of the island, and that passed. We just needed the proof of insurance and proof of license turned in. Next, we had land bid opening. There was one sale on it, or one bid on it. When I opened the envelope, it was for $805, two small pieces, tiny pieces, and the minimum bid had been set at $800, so that was accepted. Next, we had office hours, so this is a decent change. On June 5th, the office will be changing hours to Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. As it is now, it's Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30. So it'll be Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5:30, starting June 5th. Next, we had ordinance 2023-07 for a rezoning, and that one passed. Then we had the hearing and resolution 2023-20 for the Central Road paving project. So at this hearing, we heard several different people speak on it. McKee he's been appealing to it over the time it's been going through. So he's written several appeals, and he talked on his various reasonings. He did mention that the road commission wasn't contributing money to this, and they are contributing 25%, and that the having a paved road won't increase your assessed value, and that's true. It's just marked whether it's gravel or dirt or paved on the road, but it doesn't actually go into the calculation. As normally, houses on paved roads are worth more, so as they sell over time, those comparables are what increase the price of the properties on paved roads. Bennett spoke for it, Haynes spoke for it, Bilex spoke for it, and those were the comments at the hearing. The board ended up passing the resolution for doing the project, which brings up the next one, which is resolution 2023-21 for the central project bond. So we'll get the money to pay for the project, and that passed as well, which only makes sense. Do go together. There was a discussion item on a deputy supervisor, and this was a little mixed. I think whether it makes sense or doesn't make sense to add in a deputy supervisor. Feel free to let me know what you think on it. I'm not sure it really ended up being very beneficial or not. So then we had our final public comment, and this one, the Covingtons had spoke about a number of complaints on Putnam. It's been a mess up there for years before I was in office, probably years after I'm out of office. And so they're complaining about Hobby, and of course, accusing us of not doing anything. But I've talked to the sheriff a number of times about it. It's on a police report for threats against me on him, because the sheriff and the prosecutor recommended doing that. And I talked to the Michigan State Police a few times on it, followed up with them every time that I told the Covingtons that I was going to. So, but they're very upset about it. There's no amount of venting that will seem to improve that situation. Next, we have Sear, County Commissioner. He talked about the new clerk and deputy clerk operating at the county, and that he's been noticing various counties going through and considering the Second Amendment protecting gun laws. And so I think the idea of that was that he's supportive of one here as well. Next, Bielek had talked about if the Central Road drain, clearing that out was, and there was another comment on there from the audience, if that was going to be part of that project. So I said I'd reach out to people on it. And I thought, if it's specifically a drain, it's drain commissioner, but when I went back and I looked at the drain map, it doesn't have a drain going through there. So I think it might just be a ditch. If it's just a ditch, it's the road commissioner. I messaged them today about if that's planned on being cleared out as part of the paving project. I would assume it is, but I'm also not a road engineer, so I'm not 100% certain. And then if it is a drain commission specific thing, they'll get back to me and I'll talk to the drain commissioner about it too. So that's where that is being followed up with essentially. And then Rachel talked about various things that are happening at the library, a number of different events that they're having. And so that was the meeting, and I know the people that come to meetings don't like some of the wild public comments, especially at the end. But realistically, it's going to happen because there's just such a extreme amount of hate and frustration in our society, right? It's starting to bubble up and fracture and break the society. And that's going to continue. It's not like I'm going to leave that to the township or the public comment sections or anything like that. But people go vent on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever they do. But it's nice to have the in-person complaints as well, right? To a certain extent. I've tried to be less patient with people just in general in the operations of the township, because I've had people just yell at me for an hour and a half, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do what I can about the issue. And it doesn't seem to help because it's essentially an unlimited amount of internal brokenness in the person. And so I've tried to be a little less patient with those types of things, just move on, because there's no fixing people internally from this position for sure. So, but I also think in-person interaction and complaints is good. The Covingtons, for instance, got pretty crazy last night, but they're probably only half as crazy as Hobby. So you have to compare to the situation that they're being stressed with as well, which is a pretty bad situation. And it'd be nice if I could get it resolved, and I don't seem to be able to. And they respectfully waited and didn't make public comment at the first public comment. So, which I appreciate that. That's why I have the second public comment. I don't have to have two public comments, but that's why I like that second public comment for people being able to say what they want, essentially. So that was the meeting, and part of my philosophy on how I run them. The next person, I'm sure, will run them different, and fair enough, for sure. But if anyone has any thoughts, questions, ideas, comments, concerns, let me know. Direct line to office is area code 231-332. 6700. Is that all right? I'm giving out that phone number not a lot. Seems like it should just come to me, or email supervisor at Dalton Township, or you can call the phone tree too and just select my extension in there also. Otherwise, this is Jeff Martin signing off. Till next time.